All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, we are here with one of West Coast's finest. We got Doc right here, right now. How you doing, brother?
Hey, what's happening, man? What's happening, everybody?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. How are you doing out in California, man, during this terrible pandemic?
Man, I'm a homebody, so it's really not phasing me too much at all anyway. I just sit around the house doing music and watching TV. That's pretty much my schedule.
Hey, man, I hear you, man. Normally during these times, man, a lot of people are going out. Sometimes staying in with Netflix is just the best thing to do, especially with COVID running wild.
Oh, my God, I didn't watch everything on Netflix.
Yeah, same here, man. I actually had to switch to Amazon Prime, man, because I watched everything on Netflix, even the low budget films that I was like, I still watched them because I had nothing else to do.
Yep, same here, same here.
But I gotta ask you, Nasty, like, what made you actually get into the music industry? Like, what sparked your passion?
Since I was about 3 years old, I knew that I wanted to get into entertainment because I've always had that kind of personality, you know what I mean? And it took hearing Run DMC live on the radio that really sparked it and made it know what I wanted to do. You know, at that point, I thought I was Run, so I tried to emulate everything I could from him. And then from that point, it was just kind of like a bowling ball. It just started taking. I just started vibing to more and more elements of hip hop. It went from that to beatboxing, to DJing, to popping, to bombing, just the whole thing. I just fell in love with the culture.
And also, you were one of the founders of the second phased West Coast crew slash company. I have to ask you, can you tell us a bit more about that crew and tell us a story about the formation?
Um, I know them. I haven't really been. I wasn't really there to be a founder. I was more so connected with the Zulu Nation, which I became part of in '94. I got blessed by Africa Islam, which is African Bambaa's son, quote unquote. So he's the one that put me on that. I've always vibed more towards the East Coast sound than I did the West Coast sound, even though I was born and raised in Compton.
And with the Zulu Nation, I've had a lot of members that actually were a part of them. They do phenomenal work for their community. Did you do any community work with them, or were you an artist with the Zulu Nation?
Well, the funny thing is, back in the day, we did have a West Coast chapter, and we would meet every week and formulate what we're going to do and what we're going to do it and this and that, whoop de whoop. It was ran by Mark Love, actually. He used to DJ for the Far Side, but yeah, he was the king at the time. But a few years ago, the West Coast chapter got disbanded. Well, at least the LA chapter did. And then plus the whole thing that happened with Bambaataa and all that other stuff that happened. So, we're in a rebuilding stage right now.
And do you guys think about getting the Zulu Nation back together, or is that just something part of your past?
I'm still in it. It's still around. Right now, it's in a rebuilding stage. A lot of the kings and lords and stuff got booted out because of the whole scandal and everything. So it's in a rebuilding stage now, and then after that, it's probably going to go to a whole rebranding type of thing. This and that. But everybody that's in it, still hip hop till we drop.
And also, speaking of hip hop, you are a multi-talented artist who has actually taken on every element of hip hop. Can you tell us a bit more about that and put some of our younger listeners up on game about every single element that you actually did within the hip hop industry?
See, this is the thing about hip hop. Being a culture, it's beautiful. It's multi-dimensional. Um, the difference between a lot of people's mentality about it now versus back in the day, now it's more of a novelty to them. Therefore, they see it as just something fun for kids to do and this and that, and they don't recognize it as a culture like you would blues or jazz or rock and roll or R&B or anything like that. So then they like to put labels on it. But to answer your question, like I said, I started rapping, which is one of the elements. Also started bombing, which is the graffiti art, which was probably the original element. Um, I got into breakdancing. Boxing was popping, which was another element. And popping started on the West Coast. Don't let nobody fool you until you started on the East Coast. It started out here. Um, and then there's DJing. So having the love that I have for the culture runs so deep, I wanted to pick up on every single thing I could about it, which was also what drew me to the Zulu Nation and everything about that, because I just wanted to just bathe myself in the culture. This love is not something that you grow out of. It's not something that once you get 21, 22, you're not doing it no more. This is some grown man shit. When you really into the culture like this, you embrace it and you just hip hop until you die.
And that is most definitely true. And a lot of individuals, they don't understand that hip hop is more than just hip hop. It's a culture. A lot of individuals nowadays don't comprehend that, which is very unfortunate.
Oh, you're 100% correct. You got to understand this is a release. It's expression. It's all mental. Like, okay, I'm gonna take it back a little bit. I had some serious depression problems back in the day, and I was going through a whole lot of stuff. And people will tell you go ahead and pray, whatnot, blah blah blah. I tried that once. Got me through a few months, but after that, it just stopped working. So then I took everything that I wanted to say and I put it into a track. I actually produced, wrote, and performed a song while I was going through a mental breakdown. And that was the biggest release I ever had. Unless you're really, really meant to do this, unless it's really, really in your soul, you're not going to feel it. It's just fun and games for you. But this is the type of thing that can change and save somebody's life because it gives them a place of camaraderie. It gives them a place of need, of want. And like I said, expression. Expression is a very valuable thing for all humans to have. We all need to have a way to vent, to get our stuff out there, and to find an avenue to do that with. And hip hop just happens to be mine.
And also, you have done some amazing work with DJ Swindle as well. How did you get connected with him?
Uh, I met Swindle back in the day when I had stopped rapping a little bit and I got into teaching people how to perform live on stage and things of this nature. He was with one crew with his company. I was with another crew, and we just got tight. And from that point on, we stayed tight, and we was like really good friends. He was the one that I started Toothpaste with. But then he got sick, and I had to find another DJ, and then that's when we went from there. I got another DJ, and then we went from there. But he's still my dude. He's still my dude.
And also, I noticed that you were actually on your Instagram. It actually says that you are an artist for Tony A the Wizard. If you don't mind me asking, how did you get connected with the legendary Tony A of High C?
Oh man, I damn near grew up with Tony. We met back in the '80s, and my DJ at the time, he didn't feel like he was good enough or whatever. So then he plugged me with Tony. So then me and Tony started hanging out, and I rocked with Tony a little bit. And basically, he was gonna be my DJ back in the day. But I ended up moving from Compton out to the Inland Empire, and shortly after that, that's when we hooked up with High C. So we disconnected for a few years. I found him a few years ago, and we started talking again. I was in his documentary. If you guys don't know nothing about it, go to www.documixery.com and peep it out. It's the history of West Coast hip hop. But anyway, we plugged for that, and since then, I performed at his birthday party. Well, not really performed, but I emceed it and got it pretty hype. So at that point, that's when he asked me if he wanted to hook back up and asked me if I wanted to be his MC. And I was like, for sure. So, we just waiting for this corona stuff to disappear so then we can go ahead and take it out on the road and do what we do.
And I gotta say, man, Tony A is a phenomenal individual. I've had him on the radio station twice for two separate interviews, and I've kind of grown a bond with him as well. Man, he is such a cool dude to even chop it up with on the phone. An amazing individual. I actually watch Rhodium Radio, man. It's most definitely one of the hottest things on YouTube. So I need everybody to hit up Tony Vision, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you tune in to Rhodium Radio.
No doubt. Sundays and Wednesdays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yeah, that's my dude, though. He's like a brother to me, so.
And speaking of Rhodium Radio, on your newest record, which I'm going to be talking about here shortly within the interview, but I do notice one of my favorite tracks off your newest record is called Rhodium Radio. And the reason why I'm bringing this up now rather than later, since we're on the topic of Tony A, is that song actually about Tony A's Rhodium Radio video log, or is that just something kind of different that you created?
Well, actually, it's an intro. Tony interviewing me about the album, which is called Revelations 23. And I wanted to give people a little insight what the album title came from, so then they can understand the whole momentum of the album and see what kind of lane it was in. So I put that in there for people to be able to grasp onto it better.
And also, throughout the 90s, so we're going back a little bit, but throughout the 90s, you actually toured with Trump Records, but never actually signed with them. Can you tell us a bit more about that? And how did you go on tour with them but not sign with them?
Okay, this is gonna piss some people off, and it really doesn't matter because I don't really pull any punches when questions are asked. Hey, you asked the question, so I'm gonna go ahead and answer it. Um, Back in the '90s, I was the only black person that was touring with them. I rocked with this cat named Tommy Gunn, and well, the thing about Trump Records and Bill Walker, they weren't really fond of black people too much. There was a point he actually got drunk in a hotel room and told me and Tommy Gunn that, you know, Mexicans are the ones that started hip hop, and you know, we do it better than the niggers do, and this and that with groups. So it was almost a problem. But that was the main reason why I never got signed with Funk. But since I helped draw a lot on the crowd, and my performance was what it was and so energetic and stuff. I mean, I jumped off stages, all kind of stuff. It was cool to have me around. It's not cool enough to sign me.
And one thing I do want to say, based on that racism stuff, I do want to say to everybody around the world that is listening, you know what I mean? I don't understand how somebody can judge an individual by the color of their skin. Because at the end of the day, if you put an African American, you put a Latino, you put an Asian, and a white person all in one room and tell them, here's a knife, cut your arm at the same time, everyone's going to bleed red in the same room. So I don't comprehend why individuals have to judge people by the color of their skin. Racism is just a thoughtless. It's one of those things where you use common sense. We're all human. I just want to touch base on that because I personally I hate racism.
I'm really, 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 really big on consciousness. Anybody who follows my Facebook page or my Instagram page or anything like that, I'm really into consciousness. Um, Funny thing is, I've been told I was racist before, which I find humorous because I was the only person I knew of during Black History Month that would post all the white people who were instrumental in the freedoms that we got now, the freedoms from the 1960s, like the Freedom Riders and people like that. I was the only one that posted stuff like that. It's not that I hate white people because I love white people. I hate racist people. Those are the people that I have a problem with. And I'm outspoken, like you've seen, like the whole Trump thing. You ask me a question, I'm going to give you the answer. I'm always straightforward like that. So it gets me in trouble sometimes. Other times, people understand it and gravitate towards it because they know I'm being honest. But as far as, any of that other stuff, I'm probably the wrong person to ask because we get overlooked so much here, and really nobody really tries to hear what we say too much because of the whole privilege thing that goes on. But it is what it is. If anybody's willing to listen, I'm willing to talk. That's basically how it goes.
And if individuals, they actually don't like when you speak the truth, a lot of individuals unfortunately don't like the truth, you know what I mean? So I just keep speaking the truth, man, and the real people will follow.
That's all you can do. That's all you can do. If somebody's really going to be down with you, really going to be by your side, it's best to be who you are. You know what I'm saying? Because if you are who you are and you be that and you don't pull punches, you know that person riding with you is really riding with you for you. And that's the way I like to be. If I'm going to have fans, I want them to know the kind of person I am so then they can appreciate what I bring to the table, how I think, how I fight for them, and all that other stuff.
And also, you also were on another tour as well with Tommy Gunn on the Lowrider tour. I have to ask you, how did you get connected with Tommy Gunn, and what was it like going on tour with him?
He was a childhood friend that I met when I moved out to the Inland Empire. I met his cousin at a house party. This cat named Gilly Gill, and he became my DJ later on. He was actually the longest DJ I had, and his cousin was Tommy Gunn. He was a rapper. So we used to freestyle all the time in his room, turn the turntables on, throw on a couple instrumentals, and we just started vibing. We was like a little clique. And at this point, uh, Tommy went ahead and slid a demo to Bill Walker at Funk, and they dug it. He was a Mexican dude that can get down, so that was right up their alley. So they went ahead and put him on, and Tommy just made sure to make a point to them to let them know that I had to go because I was part of the show. Blah blah blah. I bring the activity, all this and that, and it was a wonderful thing to watch for a while.
If you don't mind me asking, like, how long was the tour? Was it like a one city date, or was it like
It
was
was,
like it
it
was
was
like a whole country?
most of the night. Yeah, it was most of the '90s. Um, the thing with Lowrider and Thump Records, when you go on tour, you're pretty much always doing something. So, you got the super shows, got the regular shows at different venues. It's always moving. So yeah, it wasn't just one show. It lasted for a while.
And also in 2019, you actually released you released a record in 2019 of last year called Revelations 23. If you don't mind me asking, like, what's the inspiration and story behind that amazing record?
Well, the thing of it is I've shared my passion and my love for hip hop. And that's what Revelations 23 is. In the Bible, it goes to Revelations 22. And Revelations 22, if you know anything about the Bible, is a return to Eden. Okay, that's when, after all the nonsense is over with and heaven on earth, that's what we do. So what I did was I took Revelations 23 as a return to the Eden of hip hop. So basically, it's a lot of boom bap stuff on there. It's not none of the nonsense like shoot you up, kill you, and this and that. It's hip hop at its roots, where it's real and full expression. Where you got some boom bap beats, where you got some lyrical flow, where you got different flavors for what you may like. I got the suicidal songs on there when I was really feeling my lowest. I got the funny songs. I got the shake your ass at the club songs. I got the this is how much I love hip hop type songs. I just put everything that I had into it. The production, the songs, the content, all that.
And also, of this year, you actually released one of your brand new records, actually called Revelations 23, on February 14th. I have to ask you, tell us the inspiration behind that amazing record, and of course, where can our listeners buy or stream themselves a copy of your newest project?
Okay, well, I just broke it down on all that stuff before, but where you can get it, you can stream it on Spotify, you can stream it on Apple, you can stream it on iTunes, you can get it at Amazon Prime or Amazon, you can get it at Google Play, you can get it you can stream it and get it any place where music is sold or streamed at.
And do you have currently? Do you have any hard copies available for the old school listeners? I know a lot of my listeners they still love copping CDs.
Uh, yeah, I have to get them when they're ordered though. And unless nobody ordering, I'm not gonna order them. I got like five here in my house left, so I'll go ahead and ship those out to whoever wants to cop one. But you know, that option's available as well. I wish I had it on wax, but I don't. So
And I'm going to be honest with you right now. We got about 20,000 people actually listening to this interview. So, let's just say, like, if you and if any people that is listening to this current interview, you have 5 chances to hit him up. 5 chances. You know what I mean? So, if you want the
yeah,
heat, you best hurry up and send a message.
I feel you. I feel you.
And the one thing I do got to ask there, Doc, what is next for you, man? Like, is there any other projects, anything else you still want to promote? We still have you here live on the radio.
Um, I just want to keep going ahead and pushing the album. I only released it in February, so I'm not trying to flood the market with too much material. I still want to work this the way I can. I'm still selling, so still push what I'm selling. In the meantime, I'm trying to get everything straight with myself. So by the time this COVID is over, me and Tony A can hit the road and take Rhodium Radio out there with all his guests and stuff and show them how the West get down.
And speaking of Tony A, if you know what I'm asking, like, have you ever been a guest on Rhodium Radio? And like, if not, like, do you think you're going to be on there anytime soon?
Um, I haven't been a guest yet, but that's all because of my own my own design. The show is still relatively new, so I want to make sure and help him get as many big people as he can on there before we put me on there. I want to push him into succeeding in his show, and just keep running those viewerships up. You know what I mean? Keep running those up, and then when the time is right, when all this is over with and we're ready to hit the road, then that'll be a good time for me to introduce myself to his audience. I think that'll be the best way to do it marketing wise. And plus, it gives him time to grow his platform even more.
And also, Doc, directly after this interview, I'm going to be playing verse 6, The World Is, from your newest record, live on the radio station for all of our listeners. If you don't mind me asking, could you, like, tell our listeners a bit more about that particular song? That way, when they listen to it, they can grasp the concept just a little bit better.
The world is one of my favorite songs. It's about the situations that's going on now. It's about racism and the police violence and how how we're still getting oppressed. You know, I'm hoping it's a wake up call for people that don't know too much about it. I hope it makes them want to dig a little deeper on their own. But it's just a black man's perspective through a black man's eyes of the world that we're living in right now. And it all comes from the heart.
And so, Doc, this is the time in the interview that I give a chance for the individual that comes on the radio station. Just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to. And also, if you can, drop them social media handles. That way, our listeners can follow you if they're not already doing so.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I do the rules first. On Twitter and Instagram, I'm pretty much a slave to pattern. My handle is Doc Nasdee. That's DocNasdee. I got it with an underscore. You got it with a period. That's Doc underscore Nasdee. Same with Facebook. As far as my shout outs, we're gonna do a little something like this. We're gonna go. I like to say a big shout out to my ace, yeah, the Wizard. You know what I'm saying? Holly Paul, my other DJ out in Wilmington, DJ Gilly Gill, you. You know what I'm saying? Let's see, Heather Bass, my sister Donna Jackson. Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Chris Wilson out in New York. I got some New York people out there. You know what I'm saying? Let's see, Joe Cooley, the Glove, Chris Taylor, the Glove. Yeah, that's my dude. Let's see, who else? Who else? Who else? Anybody else who I fuck with, you know who you are. And I appreciate you putting me on your show, man.
Hey, man, you are most certainly welcome, man. Like, like I said, man, I know, I'm gonna be honest. I noticed you for a while, man, but I get so many inquiries that I get flooded daily, man. I have to turn down at least 150 people a day, almost, right?
Oh, I know.
So it's
I
like
know.
I actually had a list of people that I actually wanted to reach out to, and like you were actually on that list of the people I wanted to reach out to. So like I was listening to your music about 3 months before I reached out. I was just so backlogged. I just don't like reaching out to people and getting them excited when I'm like, look, I don't got a date for 3 months. They're gonna be like, oh damn man, why the hell did you reach out, right? So I just tend to make a list and write the name down that way whenever I book them. Or if, I got a lot of people that I want to reach out to, and they always turn. Sometimes they turn me down, so you know what I mean. I put an X to the name, but I'm glad I got you on the station, man, because I was really enjoying, your Revelations 23, man. I was really enjoying that record.
I appreciate it, man. Good looking. And anything you need from me, just holler at me. You got my map, so hit me up anytime.
Hey, most definitely, man. Same goes for you. But I want to say, Doc Nasty, thank you so much again for coming on 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM, man. We're going to get into some of your music right here, right now. But I just want to say, man, thank you so much.
No doubt. Thank you.
You're most certainly welcome. Have yourself a wonderful night.